They have to feel comfortable. It's important that they feel safe to come and talk to you.
For sure.
So if they don't feel safe, if they don't feel like they have a level of rapport with their parent, if they think, well, if I come and tell her this, or if I come and tell him this, they're just going to flip out, or how can I even do it? I mean, how are you ever going to get information?
For sure.
But on the other hand, I don't think that you necessarily need to be their friend. I think that when you are there, the moment that you say as a parent, it's more important for me to be friends with my child versus parenting my child. Are you putting yourself in the position to now worry about being liked by my child? When I do feel like there's a lot about parenting where you're not going to be liked.
I do want them to feel like I am your friend, because I want you to feel comfortable enough to come to me and talk to me about girls, about your body parts. I got 2 boys, 11 to 15, so right up in that puberty area now. Let's be real. Pornography is easily available on cell phones now, so you just got to be on top of it. You got to really be in tune with your kid to know what's going on. So we definitely do random phone checks. Give me that damn phone. What you got going on in here? Safari, open it up, screen, history, scrolling. I need to see what's going on. YouTube, what you been looking at? Scroll. Social media, what's going on? What you looking at? I need to be locked into them, but I definitely do want them to feel like I am their friend.
You're listening to For Real Though, hottest new podcast in the street.
Can't go wrong with you, dig?
With your host Jimmy Reels and co-host Queen Nisha. Tap in now. Nah, for real though.
You hit play?
Phone look straight?
Yeah.
Alright. What up? Welcome to For Real Though. I go by the name of Jimmy Reels. Queen Nisha's in the building.
What's up, guys?
And today, we gotta scratch that.
You sound like a commercial. Just relax.
I'm good. You ready? What up? Welcome to For Real Though. It's your boy Jimmy Reels, Mr. King Energy himself. Queen Nisha's in the building.
What's up?
And on this platform, we have candid conversations about love, relationships, and parenthood. Now, Queen actually is my wife. We've been together 18 years.
Well,
right?
He's counting total. I count marriage, but...
I was going to do them both, actually.
Okay. Well, we've been married 13 years.
Been together 18 years, been married for 13 years. Married my high school sweetheart. And we love black love. I think the whole point of our podcast is to kind of document our journey in a way. We kind of talk a little bit about our life story. Hopefully you guys find some inspiration from it. Like I said, all things love, relationships, and parenthood, right? We got 2 boys.
Yep.
At this point, they are 11 and 15. 11 and 15. 11
and 15.
And I love them, but I gotta put them in the headlock every now and again. You know how that go. Bruh, y'all feel me? You gotta rule with an iron fist sometimes. But no, today's topic that wifey wanted to talk about is...
Yeah, so recently I was actually watching an interview with our beloved First Lady. We all love Michelle Obama.
Love it.
Yeah, we all love.
I'm just playing.
Stop playing. Don't try and play in my face about Michelle Obama. Anyways, but she was given an interview and it was on Revolt TV, and she was asked a question by Kelly Rowland, and the question was, is there a part of you that want your kid to look at you as their friend? Is that important to you to have a friendship with your child, or do you strictly parent your child, basically? And I'm paraphrasing a little bit on the question. So that's what we're kind of going to discuss today and get into it. Do you want to have, is it important to you, or do you find it necessary to be friends with our two boys as well as parenting them? Or are you strictly, I'm their parent?
For sure. I think that's a great question. Before we get into it, this is what I need y'all to do. If you guys are new here, I need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and smash that like button. Click the bell icon for notifications. That way you guys get notified every time we drop a new video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. It'll really help us out a lot. So what's your take on it? I'm interested to hear what you think. You think your kid, you and the kid should have like a friendship type of relationship, or you feel like you should just be strictly a parent?
So my first thought process behind that question is, well, for one thing, what's your definition of friendship? Like, what do you consider being friends with your child? Like, how does that look? Because I do feel like there needs to be a level of rapport with your kid. I mean, they have to feel comfortable. It's important that they feel safe to come and talk to you.
For sure.
So if they don't feel safe, if they don't feel like they have a level of rapport with their parent, if they think, well, if I come and tell her this, or if I come and tell him this, they're just gonna flip out, or how can I even do it? I mean, how are you ever gonna get information?
For sure.
But on the other hand, I don't think that you necessarily need to be their friend. I think that when you are there, the moment that you say as a parent, it's more important for me to be friends with my child versus parenting my child. Are you putting yourself in the position to now worry about being liked by my child? When I do feel like there's a lot about parenting where you're not going to be liked. They're not going to like you.
Facts. I think, well, I'm going to let you go ahead and answer the question first, and I'm going to chime in. It seems like you're setting the foundation of it. So what are you saying exactly? How do you feel? What's your opinion?
I'm saying that friendship, it depends on your definition of friendship. There does need to be a level of rapport. It would not be friends like, we're friends.
Right.
You know, I want you to like me.
Right.
But me and my boys, we're cool. But I'm not your friend. I'm not your little friend. Like, but we're cool. We do have a level of rapport. So I don't ever want them to get the two misconstrued where they think that, oh, well, really where I feel like we have to be friends and they have to like me. No, there has to be a friendship foundation, though. There has to be a level of rapport and safety, but I'm not concerned with them necessarily liking me, because there's going to be times that they do not like me.
Right. Because you got to crack the whip, so to speak, sometimes.
Well, no, because I have to parent.
Right.
It's my job to correct the narrative. It's my job to redirect. That's our job as parents, I feel like, is to correct and redirect.
So this is what I think. I definitely feel where you're coming from, and I agree with you. I kind of feel like it is important to have that level of rapport, like she said. I feel like I'm going to let them believe that we're friends, right? I'm going to make them feel comfortable, right? So I take my boys to school. Well, I got one in high school now, so this year he kind of catches a bus. But previously, up to this point, I've taken my boys to school every morning, and we kind of alternate in picking them up from school. But lately, Queen has been kind of picking them up. So that's usually my time, because, you know, we working, they in school, we got to try to maximize the time that you get with them, especially these days, right? And they're involved in sports too. So I usually try to take advantage of that time to just kind of have conversations with them, pop shit, and just get them to open up. I want them to feel like we're friends so that they feel comfortable enough to come to me and talk to me. You know what I mean? I usually start off by asking them about their day. You know what I mean? We kind of joke, and I'd be like, so is there any, Aaron, my 11-year-old, I'm like, so Aaron, is there any cute girls in your class? Like, are you into girls? Like, what's going on, bro? And so we just kind of talk, and like you mentioned, establishing that level of rapport. I want them to feel like I am their friend, right?
So you're finessing. Are you using the power of finesse?
No, because it is genuine, right? It is genuine. I am their friend, but...
but when you say I want them to feel like...
Yes, because they got to feel comfortable. If they just feel like, nah, he pops, he going to flip out, or I don't really want to talk to him about that shit.
Okay. That's fair.
I'd rather them feel comfortable enough to come talk to Pops rather than go talk to their knucklehead ass friends who don't know shit. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be real about it. So if you want to call it or consider it a finesse, I'll take that. I'll eat that. But I do want them to feel like I am your friend, because I want you to feel comfortable enough to come to me and talk to me about girls, about your body parts. I got 2 boys, 11 to 15, so right up in that puberty area now. Let's be real. Pornography is easily available on cell phones now, so you just got to be on top of it. Like, you know what I mean? You got to really be in tune with your kid to know what's going on. So we definitely do random phone checks. Give me that damn phone. What you got going on in here? Safari, open it up. Screen, history, scrolling. Like, I need to see what's going on. YouTube, what you been looking at? Scroll. Like, social media, what's going on? What you looking at? Like, I need to be locked into them, but I definitely do want them to feel like I am their friend. What I'm curious is, you said that you kind of got this thought from Michelle Obama. What was her response? What did she say about it?
She said no.
Okay.
She said no. We're not friends because it's my job to parent. So she said, as parents, that the moment that you kind of put yourself in this box where you want to be friends with your kid, then you worry about your kid liking you. And that may enable your ability to parent. But I can see where she's coming from. So I guess personally for me, I'm a little bit in the middle with it. I'm a little neutral with it, where I do believe we need to have a level of friendship, a level of rapport, relationship, but that rapport changes, and I think that the friendship builds, the rapport builds a friendship, and that may change over the course of time as your kid get older too.
Right.
I do think that, like, as my boys get older, I can't parent them the same way that I parented them last year, because they're older, they're thinking differently, they're communicating differently. So along with that, my relationship is going to grow, expand. My capacity of that rapport and having a friendship with them changes. It's levels to parenting.
It's levels, for sure. I feel like I'm not surprised by her response, because she is of a different generation. And I feel like there's a tendency for older parents of a different generation. They typically have that mindset of, I'm not your friend. Us as millennials, or just speaking for myself even, I'm more inclined to establish a friendship with my boys and with my sons. For one, they're boys, so we definitely got to be locked in. And we got to have a free-flowing, open level of communication. I feel like if you get that hat, or you're perceived as just a parent, they're not going to talk to you, bro. They're not. So you got to have some type of level of friendship, is what I feel. And I think maybe a better way of explaining it is, we're friends, but with boundaries. That means, yeah, we cool, we friends, we pop shit, we might roast each other, we have fun, but when sometimes things could shift, and when that shift happens, I need you to notice that. I need you to notice that, okay, shit just got real. Like, now I'm your dad. And it might sound confusing, but I think that you just have to set boundaries with the friendship. Because at the end of the day, it's about balance. Like, I believe in just having that balance of friendship, but you got to set boundaries too, so that they still know that you are the parent. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So let me ask you this. Since we talking about kids, do you have a favorite? Tell the truth. Don't lie.
No, I love my kids the same.
That's cap.
It's not cap.
That's cap.
I love both of them the same.
That's cap.
I don't have a favorite.
You don't have a favorite kid?
No. He thinks I have a favorite kid, but I don't.
The baby kid is usually always the favorite when it comes to the mom.
That's not
She
true.
capping right now. She don't want to keep it 100. But the baby usually gets favorable treatment, and the oldest usually gets the more harsh, more critical treatment. Because what's the explanation we usually give? Well, you the oldest, you know better, or you supposed to be a leader, or you supposed to be setting a good example for your brother. Does that sound familiar?
No, just
So isn't it arguable that the baby is usually the favorite because they get the most favorable treatment, and the oldest is usually treated more critical?
No.
How you gonna sit up there and cap like that?
No, because the oldest is the oldest for a reason. Like, obviously, he's the oldest, so he has more responsibility. He does have the responsibility as being the oldest child to lead by example, because your younger sibling is looking up to you. That's just fact.
But could one argue though that the baby kid is gonna get away with more than the older kid because the older kid is supposed to know better? That's still favoritism, right?
No, because if you do something out of line, like, you're still gonna get pocketed. I'm still gonna check you. Whether you older or whether you're the youngest kid. But there is more, I guess you would say, pressure, quote unquote pressure, but it's not even pressure. It's just the expectation to lead in the manner of his capacity that he can lead in, because he's the oldest. He has to lead by example.
I know you got a lot of siblings, right? How many siblings you got?
I have 7.
7, so you're one of 8.
I have 7, and I have a total of 7.
So you are the middle child?
Something like that.
Okay. So in your experience and in your household, right? Because I think it's interesting, like, there's some cases like, do you parent how you were parented, or do you parent completely different from how you were parented? So I'm asking the question, like, for the people, you being the middle child, who got the who seemed like they got favorable treatment to you out of your siblings when y'all was growing up? Was anybody treated differently to you, or got in trouble more, or got away with more to you?
Well, of course you have ones that get in trouble more versus the other ones, but I wouldn't say that.
Who seemed like they got away with?
I'm not going to name names, but I would say that and growing up, it was really an even playing field. Like, there wasn't favorable treatment where it was the mindset of if one of y'all did it, all of y'all did it. Like, and none of us was telling on each other, so then we all got in trouble.
That's interesting. Because when I'm the oldest of 4, right? So I got 3 other siblings. And in my experience growing up, it seemed like the baby got away with the most shit, right? I mean, it just seemed like that's the common way where it go. The baby usually gets away with the most because they're younger.
Well, no, I think typically
and it seems like the tendency is that the parents tend to baby the baby child more. And maybe it's because we are guinea pigs, right? With me being the oldest, it's all trial and error, right?
No, I think that...
So what you learned how to parent from me, you try to do it better the next time with the second one, and then try to do it better the third time. And then with the baby, it seemed like you should damn near be an expert by then, right?
I don't even know what you're talking about at this point. Like, that doesn't even make any sense to me.
The baby gets the most favorable treatment. That's what I'm saying.
The baby doesn't get the most favorable treatment. You're older. You know better. You know better. You know your kids. You know your kids. And 9 times out of 10, especially if it's a group of y'all, it's not the baby getting into stuff. It's y'all getting into stuff. It's the oldest getting into stuff.
Right. No, I'm playing better. I'm playing devil's advocate. I know this. But one thing I do find interesting, since we're on the topic of parenting, though, is that I think in our journey of just being together and raising these kids together, is that you learn that and I think you even mentioned it too, like you definitely got to parent them differently, right? Each kid is going to need something different from you, right? So in the beginning, I'm trying to treat them the same, do everything the same, but they may have different interests. Like one of my kids is into sports, and then my oldest son, he's kind of into sports, but he's more of an intellectual, so he's kind of more into other things, right? And so you remember I had him out in the backyard doing drills and all this other stuff. 'Cause I was a former athlete, so I'm like, y'all gonna be athletes, so we got to go out here in this backyard, get this football, and y'all got to get this work, right? And for one, it was cool, but for the other one, he wasn't really fucking with it like that. Like he like, until he mustered up the courage one day to be like, Pops, this ain't it. Like this ain't it. This ain't what I'm on. So there's been things along the way that really helped me to understand that each kid needs something different. Needs to be parented kind of different. And you got to spend time with them differently. They both gamers, but sometimes I play the game or do sports activities with my younger one. But then I got to kind of just hang out and pick my oldest one's brain and just kind of chill with him. We might go to the mall, we might go to the movies, or just go do something different. What would you say your experience is between them two, and what do you think like you have to give them differently attention-wise?
So attention-wise, they do require different things because they're just different people. You have to know your child. You have to learn your child, and that you're only going to get that by spending time with your kid. But in saying that they both need something different, and then you pointed out how you have to do different things with them. So in doing that, bringing it back to the original question, do you feel like it's necessary for you and your kid to be friends? Is that necessary for you, or do you just strictly parent?
And my answer was yes.
Your answer was yes. So in doing different things, is that what you're doing? Are you building that friendship with them? And have you benefited from them thinking that they are your friend or being friends with them?
I would say absolutely. You gotta, just like you said, spend time with them, and you have to build your own individual relationship with each kid. Like, we do stuff together all the time, of course, but I gotta just hang out with one kid at a time too, to get to know them one-on-one.
But what have you learned? Has there been anything that you learned being their friend that you feel like, man, he wouldn't have told me this, he wouldn't have confided in me if we couldn't talk, if we weren't friends?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I'm comfortable with just kind of putting it out there and putting them on the spot with it, because...
No, you're not going to go into details. We're not going to...
Yeah, but...
Their business is their business,
Because
kids do have business, and social media is real, so we're not going to get into details.
Well, wait. Kids got business?
Kids do have business. They have the business.
They don't got no business.
Kids,
not in this house, they don't. But I understand where you're going with it.
Kids have the business of their own business being their business and not the world's business or nobody else's business until they choose to put it out there. And as their parents, we guard their business. Sure. I'm the keeper of your secrets, bro.
For sure. And that ties into that trust building, right? And friendship and bond building. But to answer your question, I notice I have to discipline them different. Like, one kid I can yell at and be real critical of at times, right? and the other kid not so much. He doesn't really respond to it that way. I gotta kind of be like my youngest son. She's nudging me, so that means I can't talk too much. But yeah, I gotta like one kid I can kind of be more critical of and really, cause I ain't gonna lie, I'm hard on them, right? The bar is set high, but it's me challenging them to be great, right? I don't ever want them to be okay with mediocrity, right? In this house, as a Sherrills, you need to fear God, you need to fear me and your mom, and you need to fear mediocrity, right? That's one of the laws here. So in order for them to pursue greatness, you got to challenge them in that way. You got to kind of be hard on them. You got to push them. And so with certain things, I learned that one can take criticism and one you kind of have to have more of a tactical approach. Would you agree with that?
I agree that you gotta parent different. You know, each kid you parent differently.
What about you?
What about me?
Same question you just asked me. I think you said, in the journey, what have I noticed that if we weren't friends, they would have came out and told me, or what? If we weren't locked in, what would I have not picked up on? So the same question goes for you.
I think that with my oldest, and I know other parents, you know, you can relate whether you have a boy or whether you have a girl. Once you get them and they hit that teenager age and high school age, they're a bit more private. You know, everything is kind of secretive sometimes. So it's just that having a relationship with him and taking the time to be intentional about my time with him. I think if we didn't have that rapport of that relationship, he wouldn't be so free to just tell me about, you know, his day, what's going on in his life, and, you know, how's he doing during exam week. This is his first year in high school, so, you know, those things he wouldn't necessarily open up about probably, or he'll probably be a little bit more dismissive, I feel like, if we didn't have, you know, that relationship, that friendship. So I do think it is important to have, I wish there was another word for it, like, because I do feel like, yes, it's important to have a rapport, but I think that my boys know that we're friends to a certain point.
What point is that?
I think they know the expectation, that there's an expectation set for them, but no matter what, the foundation that you can come and talk to me about anything is laid out. Like, I'd rather you come and tell me than holding it in or not saying anything at all. I think, you know, that's important.
I agree. I think also the repetition plays a major part in it too. You don't necessarily just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm your best friend, you can tell me everything.
Right.
It don't work like that. They're not just gonna wake up one day and start spilling out everything. It's a little bit gradually. Every single day I open up to them by, you know, asking them about their day. I tell them a little bit about my day and what I'm kind of stressing out a little bit, but it's cool though. Well, why are you stressing out, Dad? Well, I got, you know, this big project that I'm working on. I got this deadline to meet, and I'm actually behind on my workload, so I'm gonna actually have to work, you know, late the next couple of nights to catch up with it, or whatever I got going on. I usually open up to them too, so it's a two-way street. It's not just one. I try to keep the conversation free-flowing so they don't feel like they're just being interrogated with questions. Well, what'd you do at school today? How was this? How was that? What you do? What happened? Like, I think just being consistent in it every day, having a conversation with them and talking to them every day, the same way me and you do, same way the foundation of our relationship is a friendship. I try to carry that on to the kids too. So just every day, just being consistent with it, and they feel more and more comfortable every day. And now it's pretty dope, and it make me smile because as soon as they get in the car, they may ask me, "So Dad, how was your day?" And that's usually them opening up because they got something they want to tell me, right? So like, "Dad, how was your day?" And I'll tell them what I got going on, and it's just like, "Oh, okay. Guess what happened to me today?" Like, and I love that, right? Because now they feel comfortable enough to just open up voluntarily, right? But that don't just happen overnight. It's consistency. You got to build up credibility to get there. So I think that's pretty dope.
You gotta have that rapport,
Right. That's a fact. So,
which is that friendship, according to your definition of a friendship with your kid. What does that look like for you and your child?
I think that, but I'm telling you though, I think it's important. Friendship, but with boundaries. You know, like I said earlier, there might be people of a different generation who disagree. I'm not your friend, I'm your parent. And I don't know that is most effective. It can be effective, but I don't know that that's most effective because they're not gonna tell you stuff.
It takes out communication. I feel like if you don't have some level of friendship, how are you really communicating? Like how is you and your child's communication? Is there a healthy dialogue? Is there communication at all, or is everything surface?
Well, that's just it too. So like if there's no open line of communication, you're not gonna know what's really going on. Your kid can be depressed and got all this crazy stuff going on. You ain't got a clue. Because you're not really locked in like that. Y'all don't talk. Even with sex stuff. Like it's crazy how many people, like grown adults, that, you know, we've kind of had conversations with and hung out with or whatever, and we just kind of get to talking about upbringing and stuff, and they say, well, we never talked about that growing up.
Right.
We never talked about sex growing up. Dudes and women. We never talked about money growing up. We never talked about credit and managing that and what that looks like.
Right.
So as soon as I got 18 or old enough to get one, I got one. It's like free money. And then what happens? They fuck it up, right? You make the mistakes because you don't really value it. You don't really understand it.
Well, you don't understand or have no concept of financial stability
And
or
financial literacy.
Financial responsibility.
Right.
But that's a whole other topic we can get
Facts.
into. So
Facts.
I think that the question is, and I'm gonna throw it back at you guys, like, comment, what do you think? Do you think that you need to have a friendship type of mentality with your kid, or do you believe in just parenting, and whether that is gentle parenting or parenting? What does that look like for you? What are your thoughts?